Senatorial candidate Mr. Robin Padilla, running for senator under the PDP Laban, has gone viral on social media for being the front-runner for the Senate seat. With many netizens arguing over the matter, should Robin Padilla have a seat in the Philippine Senate? With this argument, I hereby stand against Robin Padilla having a seat in a senatorial position. Robin Padilla is a well-known action star in the Philippine entertainment industry with bachelor's degree in criminology. He runs for a Senate job that demands serious efforts, commitment, time, and a huge responsibility as the country's legislature. Subsequently, he must have the qualities of a legislator to perform the job properly. In the year 1994, Mr. Padilla was convicted of simple illegal possession of firearms when he was chased by authorities after a hit-and-run accident which he denied on October 26, 1992. But high-powdered firearms with live ammunitions were found in his possession and arrogantly claimed that those were licensed but later proven that they are not. This is well documented in GR number 121917 Robin Hood Padilla versus Court of Appeals and People of the Philippines. After the Supreme Court conviction was ordered, Padilla fled to the mountains of Bicol to evade the law and rebel against the government. In fact, he himself admitted this in the Tony Talks segment on YouTube quoting Mr. Padilla's statement, "Hindi ko naman yun kaagad tinanggap kasi umakyat na ako ng bundok. Isa't kalahating buwan akong kasama ko ang mga NPAs and for some time, naging rebelde tayo." But he later turned himself in and was jailed with the minimum term of 10 years and 1 day to 18 years and 8 months and 1 day. However, this has been lowered from 6 to 12 years after the group of Mr. Padilla and Bilibid sent a letter of request to the legislators to amend the provisions of Presidential Decree number 1866 and was granted by the Senate and the House of Representatives, which people informally call Robin Padilla Law. That formally refers to the Republic Act number 8294. To clarify, this law was not proven to be authored or amended by Mr. Padilla, but people were misled by the recent circulating video of Mrs. Mariel Padilla, the wife of Mr. Padilla, published on May 2, 2022 on her YouTube channel where she said, "So Robin, nung nasa Bilibid nakapagpasa na ng batas without being a senator," stating it as one of Mr. Padilla's achievements. Mr. Padilla is not a legislator during that time, and there are multiple steps in amending or creating a law before it will be signed. And in fact, there is no such law named as Robin Padilla Law that can be found even on the internet. Going back, after years of imprisonment, Mr. Padilla was given a conditional pardon by President Fidel V. Ramos in 1997, and in 2016, President Duterte grants Mr. Padilla an absolute pardon, which is the total extinction of the criminal liability of the individual without any condition or whatsoever, resulting the full restoration of his civil rights. So, why is it important? Undeniably, he is a convicted person who tried to evade his court and dared to go against the law because he can't accept his conviction, but runs for a position that creates law and promotes reform. This only shows inconsistency in his actions and makes him unreliable as a leader and legislator. But isn't this idea outdated? In the recent interview with ANC's Head Start Philippine senatorial candidates, when Karen Davila asked Mr. Padilla, "Marunong bang gumawa ng batas si Robin Padilla?" Then Mr. Padilla replied with a proud tone that he is one of the co-authors of the Robin Padilla Law, together with Senator Ramon Revilla and Congressman Daza. He then said, "Pagdating sa batas, kayang-kaya natin yan." But after a while, he said, "Madami po tayong pwedeng kuning lawyer, and panahon na po na isang Robin Padilla ang gumawa ng batas sa guidance ng magagaling na lawyer." In this short question of Mrs. Karen, Mr. Padilla implied that he is capable of creating law, as he claimed that he has already co-authored and implemented Robin Padilla Law that he certainly benefited from. And he also said that it's time for him to create a law and say kayang-kaya, yet he needs guidance from lawyers to make one. This attitude degrades his competence as a potential future legislator who is believed and chosen by millions of Filipinos. To be fair, Mr. Padilla has done many impactful things for the country by supporting President Duterte in fighting against illegal drugs, organizing Tindig Marawi programs, and have been an advocate and part of peace talk between Abu Sayyaf and etc. His platforms are poverty alleviation, unity and cooperation between Muslims and Christians, social justice and equality, and his primary goal to push federalism and parliamentary system of government, which proposes a change in government system to meet the interests and of every region considering the different cultures and traditions. These are wonderful platforms that will surely bring change and welfare to the people and our country. Ironically, Mr. Padilla, who pushes for federalism and parliamentary system of government, which practices rigorous deliberation between propositions, did not attend any formal senatorial debate organized by multiple TV stations and COMELEC itself during the campaign period. This only implies that the principle of Mr. Padilla do not reflect his actions. These debates will measure the intellect, competence, and sensitivity of a senatorial candidate, not only to selective problems, but to the entire nation's struggles, because after all, they are all legislators not only for a few people, but for the entire nation and state. So, isn't Mr. Padilla just an actor, or he is fitted to be a legislator? As Professor Clarita Carles heard the proposed priority bills by the senatorial candidates in the SMNI senatorial debate, she said, if all of you were to be elected as senators, we would indeed be heading towards a better Philippines. Yes, Mr. Padilla is not the only one who has a better vision for the country. Frankly speaking, senatorial candidates are all good, but the Filipino citizens deserve the best. Mr. Padilla is genuine in his candidacy, but other candidates are more capable and fitted to be a legislator. Among the 64 senatorial candidates, only 12 will be elected. With the qualities and limited seats, I will say Mr. Padilla is not competent enough and should not be in the Senate.